Hello everyone, welcome back to another Magic the Gathering video. Today I was at my local game store, saw that they had somehow gotten a hold of classic 6th edition tournament decks, basically starter decks, from, again, 6th edition. These are from about 1999. Let's see what we get here. We get 75 additional cards. So it says on the back here, this tournament pack contains 75 classic cards that are ideally suited for sealed deck play. You can enhance your decks with more classic cards sold in 15 card booster packs. Each player needs a deck to play. So, contents of these decks: 75 randomly sorted cards and a classic rule sheet. And then I remember a lot of the sets had these symbols here. And once I get the plastic wrapping off of this, I'll be able to show you more. But there was beginner level or starter level, advanced level, and then expert level. And these are advanced level, so these are kind of like intermediate. We're gonna go ahead and get these open. There's some decent stuff in 6th edition, so it's a lot of reprints from still some alpha stuff, still some alpha beta kind of stuff in there. I remember there being reprints from Mirage, Visions, Weatherlight. Don't remember exactly what other sets were in this reprint. Don't know if there's anything from Ice Age or Homelands in there, but we're going to go ahead and get this open, and we're going to see if we get any of the good rare cards. The good rare cards, or just some of the good, even some of the good uncommons are like the various tutors. So like there's Enlightened Tutor, I think Mystical Tutor, Worldly Tutor, and I think Vampiric Tutor is the most valuable. I don't remember if Vampiric Tutor was an uncommon or if it was a rare. I remember Enlightened and Mystical, I think, were uncommons. Alright, so got that open there. We can take a closer look at it. There's the front. Then you have the back here. And then we have some more information there. And then various just company information, like address and all that right over here. It wants to focus on it. It might not. It's really kind of not all that important. We're going to go ahead and get the deck open here. So it looks like there's some land in there. So I don't remember exactly how these were seeded. Let's see where the little pull tab is. Oh, here it is right here. If I can actually get it to actually come off. May just have to use the scissors. Let's see what we can do. There we go. Be careful not to scrape any of the cards. Alright, and then we're going to go through this deck and see what's actually in it, if there's anything good. These are all white border cards. I think 9th edition, I think, was the last one to use white borders. From what I remember, I think the rares were up in this area. We're going to basically just put those down for a second. Oh, there's some uncommons right there. Here is the classic 6th edition rules. So there's information about the stack in here. Countering spells. Those classic rules do away with interrupts. All interrupts are now instants, which means that you can counter a spell anytime before it resolves. Abilities that trigger on a spell being successfully cast now trigger on a spell being played. The example given is, I play terror on a creature you control. You respond by playing Inspiration, which lets you draw 2 cards. One of the cards you draw is Counterspell. You now play it to counter tear. So kind of basically how, looks like the whole thing with the stack kind of started here maybe? Yeah, so it says the stack. Forget batches and series. Whenever you play a spell or ability, it goes on the stack. You can then play another spell or ability or pass. If you pass, your opponent gets priority to play spells and abilities. When you both pass in succession, the spell or ability on top of the stack resolves. Then the players whose turn it is, the active player gets priority again. You don't have to wait for everything on the stack to resolve before playing another spell. So, 6th edition, like little rule sheet. There's information about the stack, phases and steps. And I don't know if Mana Burn was taken out in 6th edition or if it was taken out later. But let's see what we have here. And we'll look at those later, because I think the rares were in after the lands. I could be wrong. So we have Glasses of Urza. So old school artwork. Artwork definitely like has gotten better, but there is a charm to the white border cards and the old artwork. So Glasses of Urza. We have a Heavy Ballista. It's just funny seeing like the power level on some of these cards. Like, so this costs 4 mana for a 2/3, deal 2 damage to target attacking or blocking creature. That would probably cost less now and maybe have more power and toughness. We have a Fallow Earth. I don't know if I've ever seen this one. Put target land on top of its owner's library for 3 mana. And it's a sorcery. We have the Spitting Drake. So 4 mana for a 2/2 flyer that gets +1/+1 to the end of turn, and spend no more than 1 mana to do it. Ah, there's an Ashnod's Altar. That's not too bad. I know a lot of decks that actually use that, a lot of commander decks. Oh, we have Abduction. So 6th edition, I think, was the first set where I actually like figured out the game. I remember getting a starter set in 1999, and it was the one that had the CD-ROM that actually guided you through the game. And that's pretty much where I learned to play. I was been collecting the cards since like 1995, but it was around 1999 when I actually started to like actually learn. There's a Phyrexian Vault. You have Warmth. The Obsidious Golem. So again, this one kind of goes to the power level comment. So 6 mana for a 4/6 with no abilities. Would probably cost less today. As far as mana cost, I mean. These, and then we have the how do you pronounce this? The Katabi orangutan. Uh, don't mind the ape in the front. Look at the monkeys in the back. I just don't know how this got around people at Wizards. Maybe they didn't care. Maybe they just didn't notice. But we got those monkeys right there, doing their thing. All right, so it looks like we have another little pamphlet. It looks like a little like DCI insert. So here's something on like on tournament formats. Let's see what else we got. So yeah, just a little information about DCI numbers and formats and stuff like that. We have the Raging Goblin. Still really like the Raging Goblin. 1/1 for with haste. I had a modern Goblin deck that ran these guys. Was running like Mud Button, Torch Runners, and a bunch of other cool stuff. Have what's this? Regeneration. Version. Circle of Protection Blue. It wants to actually this. Let me actually move these out of the way for just a moment. We'll get to those in a second. So again, Circle of Protection Blue. Horn Turtle. The grizzly bears. Grizzly bear is just a 2/2 for 1 and a green. We have inspiration. Goblin hero. Gorilla chieftains. Lightning blast. Feast of the unicorn. Think this may have been out of Homelands. We have the razor-toothed rats. Resistance fighter. Unsummon. There's 1 blue to return a creature to its owner's hand. We have the bog rats. This warrior's honor. Giant strength. And I still like some of the flavor text on these. So this one has a quote from Shakespeare. I kind of really like that kind of flavor text. I know now all the flavor text basically goes into whatever um, the lore of whatever set they're in. But I kind of liked, kind of missed some of that flavor text that would be like, like quoting Shakespeare or other works of fiction. We have a giant spider. Basically, it has reach before reach was a thing. Enfeeblement. Circle of Protection black. The Sage Owl. Sage Owl, not bad. So one in a blue for a 1/1 flyer that lets you look at the top 4 cards of your deck and rearrange them. The Mesa Falcon. Phantasmal Terrain. The Naba Bodyguard. So First Strike Minotaur. The Pradish Gypsies. We have the Mountain Goat. So yeah, just a 1/1 for 1 with Mountain Walk. The Mountain Goat. We have the Scaled Worm. 8 mana for a 7/6, no abilities. Fatal Blow. Not actually a terrible card. So do a little bit of like ping something for with like some just like basic spell or ability that does 1 damage, and then play that on it. Tundra Wolves. We have a counterspell, classic 2 mana cost counterspell. We have Wild Growth. Speaking of, that was a good one. I get to land this tap for mana. It produces an additional green. I think I've used that in a couple commander decks. And then we have a Fog Elemental, and then we'll get to our, looks like there were some lands, and then probably our rare cards. So there is a Fog Elemental. So when it attacks or blocks, sacrifice it at the end of combat. Alright. So it looks like we just have some lands, some basic lands. So we have We've got a mountain, island, forest, swamp, plains, mountain, island, forest, swamp, plains. So it looks like just a handful of basic lands. I'm not going to go through all the different artworks, but pretty cool artwork on these. Really liked the classic edition. We got a swamp. Did I do a plains? No, we'll look at one of each of basics. So there's 5 of each. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of each. 2, 3, 4, 5 of each. Now we're gonna get into our rares. But yeah, it looks like a stack of land. And our first rare, we have Nature's Resurgence. So get a bunch of creatures in your graveyard, pay 2 and 2 green to draw a bunch of cards. You have a Nightmare, which used to be a decent card. I think this card is now printed out in the welcome decks for new players. So flying and its toughness, power and toughness equal to the number of swamps you control. Then we have a Jade Monolith. Card there. So again, Nature's Resurgence, Nightmare, and Jade Monolith as our rares. And we got some decent uncommons. I'm really liking that we got that Astronaut's Altar. And we got one more deck to open. I remember just cracking the heck out of 6th edition. I think 4th and 6th out of like the numbered editions were the ones I probably opened the most of. And I probably opened more 6th edition than anything else for at least like the original like editions that had just had numbers. Really wasn't playing a whole lot when 5th edition came out because I got into 4th, didn't really get a whole lot of 5th. Started working at a game store in like the late 90s when this set came out, so I bought a bunch of that because I obviously was working in a game shop at the time. And then didn't really do a whole lot of 7th, 8th, or 9th edition. I remember got back into the game in like the late kind of 2000s. So I was out of it for a while, and then got back in, got a few packs of 10th edition, not an incredible amount, but I remember getting 10th edition, and 10th edition was the first of these numbered editions to not use the white borders. So again, we'll do the commons and commons first, and then we'll move into the rares. And hoping to grab like the any of the tutors. Now that one's actually got a nice. That one actually has a nice tab on it. That one actually was very easy to open. Previous one was kind of difficult. So I think we basically just open it until we get to the little pamphlet. The uncommons are in this one, or is it further back? We'll look at that pile in a second. So we're going to look at this set here. So we have a Lost Soul. Hero's Resolve. Kind of like Hero's Resolve, so 2 mana, make something +1/+5, so you can just put that on a creature and have it have a pretty decent amount of toughness. So, like put it on a 1/1, you then have a 2/6. We have Flight. Still pretty decent because you can basically, it reminds me of Arcane Flight out of Dominaria. Has a very similar effect. We have another Giant Strength. We saw that guy earlier. One of the Shakespeare quote. We have a remedy. The trained Armadon. Yeah, trained Armadon. A Bog Imp. Another Mesa Falcon. Dream Cache. I've always really loved this artwork. The guy just looks like really comfortable there. So he's having like a good nap, probably dreaming of some gold. I like the flavor text. Dreams riches are easily spent. Still a pretty decent card. So two in a blue. Draw three, choose two cards from your hand, and put them on either the top or bottom. Like that, if you have such a great card in your hand, you can just throw it on the bottom. We have a Windrake. We have Fire Breathing. Just really like that art style on this one. Like it kind of reminds me, like at least the flames, kind of like a stained glass kind of style almost, or a storybook style. I think it was like Tommy D. Piola. I forgot. He did some kids books and it has that kind of style on it. There's another scaled worm, like I earlier. Goblin Elite Infantry. I had these guys in a Goblin deck at one point. So one in a red, and whenever they block or become blocked, they get -1/-1. So not great if your opponents have blockers, but a 2/2 otherwise. Goblin Infantry. We have Siphon Soul. So yeah, Siphon Soul, 2 in a black. Siphon Soul deals 2 damage to each other player. You gain life equal to the damage dealt this way. You have the Samite Healer. Another Fog Elemental. Saw that guy in the last pack. Giant Growth. You have a Flame Spirit. You have Elven Cache. So 2 and 2 green, return target card from your graveyard to your hand. You have a Dry Spell. I believe this is another Homelands card. You have a Python. Circle of Protection green. Prodigal Sorcerer. Really still like Prodigal Sorcerer, so I'm working on putting him into a Wizards Commander deck and a way to basically just constantly tap and untap him because his ability. So 2 in a blue, 1/1, tap it to deal 1 damage to target creature or player. Pretty decent. Especially if you can have a way to basically just constantly tap and untap, tap and untap, tap and untap, and then just ping your opponent for all their life. You have a Stone Rain. You have Gaseous Form or Gaseous Form. You have a Viashino Warrior. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. Another Coercion. Saw this one earlier. So look at a target opponent's hand and choose a card from it. The player discards the card. Coercion is decent because it's I like that you can just discard anything. It doesn't a lot of stuff like that now will say like a non-land or something like that. Circle of Protection blue. Another Goblin Hero. Another Gorilla Chieftain. Another what's this? Resistance Fighter. It's a 1/1 for 1 that you can sack it to make a target creature deal no damage, and then finally for our commons we have Unsummon. Let's go find our rares and uncommons now. So uncommons are in the back this time. Looks like they're really out of order. I don't really know. All right, so let's do our uncommons first. We have staunch defenders. We have a charcoal diamond. So mana rock for black. We have the ruins of Trocaire. I don't know what they called this land cycle. So it comes in tab. It taps for one of whatever color the land taps for, or then you can tap it and sack it to add two. There was one for each color. I forgot exactly what they called that cycle of lands though. We have an Aether Flash. We have a what's this? Femerif Archers. That actually isn't too bad because you can basically just tap it and do 4 damage to a creature with flying for 2 and a green for a 2/2. We have a Reprisal. I believe this was out of Alliances, I think. I remember this one specifically. Still really liked Reprisal. We have the Soldavi what's it? Soldavi Sage. We have Sarah's Blessing. That's actually really decent. So I haven't seen this one yet. So 1 and a white attacking doesn't cause creatures you control to tap. So basically 1 and a white to give everything vigilance. That's pretty good. We have Agonizing Memories. And then we have a Wall of Fire. Basically, you can pump it. It's 0/5. So just use it as a really good blocker, and then you can actually have it do some damage if you use the pump ability. And let's see where we're at now. On right, here again, here's all our lands. All right, and now here is our again the DCI nation thing. See what we got here. We have a Flying Carpet. We have what is this? The Y Looney Wolf. The Y Looney Wolf. So tap it to give something +1/+1 until the end of turn. And then our this we have Zer's Weirding. I don't know if I've ever seen this one. So that's gonna do it for this video. Again, we just were opening 2 tournament decks for Classic 6th edition from Magic the Gathering from 1999. I may grab some. They also had 6th edition booster packs as well, so I might get a couple of those just to open for the channel. Some fun cards. Really liked 6th edition. Really liked the old cards in general. I mean, kind of have a thing for the white borders and for just the old artwork. And there's still some decent stuff in some of these sets. So, again, that's going to do it for this video. Remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Thanks again for watching.